What's that?
It's gone. Okay, we are on set. Good morning.
You Isaac, you. Oh, I'm cleaning myself and you put me on set. Anyway, since this is how you wanted to say good morning to me, it's okay. Constance.
Yeah.
You've seen this man.
I see him every day. Like, he's always like that.
My nephew, you've seen what my nephew has done.
Yeah. I think he need to start Mwamuchako this on panon for 2 hours and then Mwamuwesh.
In fact, from today, Isaac, you are no longer my nephew. For what you've done, you are not my nephew.
Okay.
There's no way I'm preparing myself and you put me on breakfast show. Huh?
Yeah.
I've disowned you as my nephew today. You need to reapply again. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to you, Constance. Good morning to Zambians. It's lovely. It's a lovely morning that you found time to join us again, once again, on the breakfast show.
Yeah, we hope you are doing very well. You slept well. And like Karan Muchima, who always comes in 1 minute late. He's always rushing. Karan nga alesa ku studio. Komu mfira fiyo kutalifuni. She Africa ateba Muchima. Honorable for Ibex Hill.
The member of parliament for Ibex Hill area. Yes. Now,
but you can learn to keep time.
If Constance, if this is the way you are addressing me along, we could have been good friends now. But every day you were Kalani, you were Shani. You know, if you've been addressing me as the honorable member for Ibex Hill constituency.
How are you? Good morning, honorable. Have you eaten? How was the meeting? Interesting. So, yeah, so many things are going on in the country. So many things.
Plenty of it. As we promised last week, we are continuing with our discussion of the statement made by the Patriotic Front PF Secretary General, Mr. Davis Mwila, that moving forward, DCs will now be appointed through the PF structures. And of course, last week we had on phone the former Minister for the Copper Belt, Honorable Mwenyamsenge, who came through via telephone. But now, today we are having Mr. Let me just go through my details again. Constance, don't steal. This is my paper. Mr. Benjamin Sewila, who is the PF National Youth Executive Committee Vice Chairman, and of course, Madam Saboy Imboila, who is the NDC spokesperson. I'm sure she's already in the studio. Anytime soon, will be joining them on set. But before we do much of the talking, Constance, let's boost our energies with the morning boost with Mr.
Isaac Machisa, I think.
Good morning, and of course, let's go for the morning boost.
Good morning, Camnet viewers. Welcome to our quick morning show. And I am your presenter, Isaac Matsa. I'm here so that we can do a bit of exercise before you jump on that vehicle and go and do your work. Let's do a warm-up as usual. I'm excited. It's a beautiful morning, a brand new day. You better be positive and do what you know. Let's go. Hamstring, stay at it. Let's do now two each. Let's go. 1, 2, and 1, 2. Stay there. 2, 1. Try it. Tell your hubby to join you. Let's do it together. 2 each. 2 each. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 4, 3, 2. Back to step touch. Let's go. 4, 3, 2. Hamstrings. 4, 3, 2. Back to step touch. And 4, 3, 2. Hamstrings. Matching. Let's match. Lift your knees high. Hip, 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 hip. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's do a warm-up. Okay. So that was your warm-up today. And we're going to do something else now. The first thing we're going to do, I'm giving you some squats. Okay, here we go now. Put your feet together. Watch my body posture. Let's go now. 20 at a go. If you can't do 20, please do 10. Okay, let's go. Let's go, mommy, daddy, involve your children. 1, 2, 4, go down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20. I'm gonna face this direction. Go! More. Okay, 20. Still with squats. Take a break. Relax your legs. Good morning workout, isn't it? Let's go, another 10 now. Watch the space. This is what I do now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try it. 5, 6. Good for your body. 7, 8, 9, 10. So that was 10. That's the second one. In case you had too much of Mishima last night, let's burn all that fat now. Another 10. Ready? Feet together. Open your stance. Go down. Touch the ground. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Push. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 20. Trust me, if you're doing it exactly like me, right now you can feel pressure on your thighs. 20 more. Remember, the first one we did was 40. This one should be 40 as well. After that, take a shower, jump on that vehicle, your bike, your car, and go for work. Let's go. 20 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! I'm burning fat here. Do it. You thank Camnet later. Last one. Let's go, Team Camnet. Let's show them we can do this. Last 10. After this, you can have your coffee and go for work. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll do 2 for you, 1 for you, 2 for your wife, 3 for your children, for my producer, 1. Great. That was 40. So you did 2 types of squats. Remember? There was a skill squat and the sumo squat. Now, forget about the names. What's important is for you to do the workout. Right now, I can't even talk properly because I'm working out. I'm burning fats, I'm burning calories, and that's what you ought to do. Every morning, try this. If you miss it in the morning, try to do it in the evening. Remember where I started from? Let's match. Back. We are winding down now. Thank you so much for tuning in to our breakfast show. Please make sure you need to exercise always because you only have one body to carry out your assignment. And I am signing out. I'm Isaac Matsa, and see you.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +260 444 726 or +260 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Isaac has refused to be disowned. He says he'll continue being my nephew. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, Benjamin Sewila is joining us from the ruling Patriotic Front. The position that I have is PF National Youth Executive Committee Vice Chairman. Am I correct?
It's true. PF Media member.
PF Media member. I've never heard of this position.
Which position?
When was it created?
Which position?
I mean, this branch within the PF. Is it the one where Kelvin Sampa is National Youth Chairman?
Yes, it's a committee within the Central Committee. It's a part. A position within the Central Committee, the National Youth Chairman, the position of National Youth Chairman, which is headed by Honorable Kelvin Sampa, who is also the MCC. It's there, it exists. Yeah.
The man whom the PF youths don't want.
Well, I don't know what you mean by saying that.
What I mean is that we've seen Akawawa almost everywhere. We don't want Kelvin Sampa. His style of leadership is not good. We've seen, I know one person, because he's not here, I'm not going to mention his name, that he's even sponsored youths to go and protest against him. No, he's chasing away youths in bus stations and markets. What to lead a knife away?
I think the truth is there are people that will not just be comfortable with one's position, and in leadership you must accommodate such people. You don't expect everyone to give you praises just because you've been elevated to a certain position. There are those that will just feel uncomfortable because they've got their own choice of preference of those that they feel should be there. And so as long as those are not picked if another person is picked in that position, you find that there'll be a bit of resistance. And this is where proper leadership comes in. You have to manage both the people that are supporting you, or people that support you, as well as those that don't want you. How do you just harmonize the situation and show them that, you know, you are a leader of all of them? So there'll be those voices, because people have their own preferences. But the final decision is made by the Central Committee, which of course on the 25th had to sit and looked at several issues. And that Central Committee is headed by His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And for them, for His Excellency to have trust and confidence in the style of leadership of Honorable Kelvin Taresampa to head the youth wing, it means that even the people on at the grassroots level, even the very youths, I think, should respect that decision which came from His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, because Kelvin Taresampa did not impose himself on that position. He was chosen by His Excellency. And so anyone who loves the party and anyone who is loyal to His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa Lungu should support his decision.
All right. Sabo Imboila is also in the studio, so that we can start our discussion. Politicization of the position of a district commissioner arising, and of course, colleagues in the studio, just do me a favor, put those videos on standby. Mwila on DCs and on DCs, I should think so. The ones we used last week, and of course the one we used also the day before yesterday. They just search for Kasama DC. The one for Kasama DC, also just put it on standby. It will help us in our discussion. Just 5 minutes break so that we can accommodate Sabo Imboil on the set.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +260 962 444 726 or +260 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back from that break. So in the studio, we are joined also by NDC spokesperson, Ms. Sabo Imboila. Please welcome.
Thank you so much, Constance. Good to be here.
Thank you so much. Now, the problem is that you are sitting very close to that.
Can you mind your business? We don't have enough time. We need to go.
You know, that man, you don't have to sit very close to him.
This one is my sister. So what
is he your brother?
This one is my sister. So you see how shamelessly you look.
No. Actually, what I'm just going to say is that...
Look, the young girl has been admiring me. And I've told her that you and I, it can't happen. So, why do you want to be giving me even my own sister?
Do I even look like I can admire that one?
Please, come on.
Since we are both light.
Since we are both light, it's not possible.
We are going to have to Manankani now. Talk to her nicely. Let your family organize. And Mashimukombe is already sitting.
As usual.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Zoom.
With this COVID, so we just use Zoom and right. Okay. On a more serious note, we'll come back once again. Now, today we are discussing a statement issued by the party Secretary General for the Patriotic Front, where he said now district commissioners are going to be appointed from the PF structures. The PF are here, being represented by Mr. Benjamin Sewila, who is the PF National Youth Executive Committee Vice Chairman, and of course Madam Savoy Imbola, who is representing the National Democratic Party Congress Party, NDC. She is a spokesperson, so that we can brainstorm around this issue. Is it okay? Others claim that the position of DC is one supposed to be a full-time civil servant who should be non-partisan. While others are also now proposing that this should be partisan and support the party in government. Let's just quickly go into the statement made by the Secretary General, Davis Mwira, so that we can open our discussion from there.
We have to appoint people from the structures. When it comes to Modisi, let's not bring people from outside. If whatever she's coming from the structure, we will need more. And that's the only way we are going to motivate our people. Very important. People must know that for them to be appointed, they have to work for this party. That we should not entertain that. We need to identify people who have suffered for this party, and we need to reward them, we appoint them, and they will appreciate and they will look after their friends well. Politics, you cannot abandon the party now.
Right. Because I don't want to play clips later on. So quickly, arising from that statement, we also saw Kerry Kashua, the District Commissioner for Kasama, when he accompanied the Minister of Home Affairs at the issuance of NRCs 2 days ago. Him also went flat out campaigning for the PF at the issuance, at the exercise of issuing NRCs, right? Yes, in Kasama 2 days ago. Let's also go straight and see what happened there.
700, 800, 1,000. Omkwai wala mkuisha bonse. Chondefu amwebe tatulere ko kupela iyo. Itimu tureba chinjafye twabachinjafye tukaleta nabantu. Okay? So tatulere kayo. Twakulako nkanyako pye.
Akalabesa nje kwa ndipushe. Sala kunu mokuyonsa mulaisa ifo bakampyongo tatu abeshi bapono kubeshi bano kuba moneta bambi na matindi tabakwata tabayishi babonko beti bakampyongo
Siramu kumona aba bantu twa mitumina na baedi galungu efe bale mutangata pakutira Firamusha kwato tumitwe. Bamwafirisha mukwato tumitwe. Bantu ni mwana papali abapwisha amasukulu abalefo okuingiresha nchito tetuingire nchito kwa bulanshi. Kwali bana mwe balufya na mwe tumito twachashani twaonaika. Mwakwate shuko tumuletere.
Savoy and Benjamin, allow me to call you like that. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so
right.
much.
Who wants to take it up? We don't want to say this one or that one. Anybody can take it up. We don't you can look at each other, Anybody can take it up.
Yeah,
you can decide on your own.
Okay.
You've already hate.
You know, okay, fine, I'll take it up. It's first and foremost very, very disappointing to see people politicize the NRC to that extent, you know. I think they forget what an NRC is all about. An NRC is not only about politics, you know. An NRC is a document that actually proves that you're a Zambian. Without an NRC, it would be difficult for you to go to college, to get a job. Right. You know, right now money is on the phones, mobile money, you know, open up a bank account, you know. So an NRC is that document that just proves that you're a Zambian, you know. And for you to just maneuver and do all the things that you want to do right now, in this digital world especially, you know. So for them to politicize the NRC as if its function, it's only for politics, it's very, very sad. Because I think elections are a secondary function of an NRC, you know. So why should they forget the primary functions, the core functions of an NRC? So at the end of the day, NRC registration should be an ongoing process. You know, it should be an ongoing process, and the government should ensure that they even encourage each and every person to get an NRC when they reach the age of 16. Right. You know, for political reasons, I did so much encourage people to register, and I was actually proactively involved to ensure that they were getting their NRCs. When was that? In 2015, 2016? 2016. Yes. And I do remember that
you're forgetting that we moved together.
And as I said, that I remembered, exactly.
Ferrying people in trucks and...
Exactly. You know, so the issue is this. There are people in Zambia who were, like that time, I remember, if you remember, there were people who were as old as 63 years old. Right. Yeah, that had never had an NRC. So you find that when you reach a certain age and you don't get an NRC, it's difficult for you to get an NRC. And that is why, even if you remember that time, what would happen is that we'd go first of all to the traditional leaders. Because somebody who's beyond the age of getting an NRC, you need first of all a statement from the traditional leaders to state that you're in those areas. And if you remember Kafue, especially, let me say the whole of Kafue, the Kafue town, Shantumbu, Chifwema. And later on what happened is that in Chifwema, that's when they opened Sinoma Cement. Yeah. There. Sinoma Cement, the youth there normally come to me and say, thank you so much for getting us an NRC. Without this, we wouldn't have been employed. People that are above 30 years old wouldn't have been employed because it was difficult for them, you know. You go to Shimabala area, same situation. The youth now, the older men, they have an NRC and they're able to get employed.
So in short, what you're saying is that it's not right for people to use the issues of NRCs to campaign for any political party whatsoever.
It's a very sad situation, actually. You know, I think Zambian politics is in such a way that we have normalized the wrong things, you know, and we have combined everything to be political. And NRC is to be distinguished in terms of what it is, its primary function, and its secondary function. But now an NRC want to vote. An NRC it shouldn't be like that.
All right. You know? Benja, we hear now the district commissioner says that once you get your NRC, prepare to vote for the PF in 2021. Should it be a campaign period when getting a document that is national in nature, not for political gains? Constance, you should also be throwing in what you think should be asked.
Obviously, as far as I'm concerned, like Savoy has pointed out, the issuance of NRCs hasn't started today, or it's not as a result of the coming general elections next year. I think the issuance of NRC has always been there. But what I'm seeing is political parties have gone flat out because this is ECZ has actually announced that they're targeting about 9 million new voters. And the process itself, for one to qualify, they need to get NRCs. And for any political party that is prepared to win the 2021 elections is also looking at numbers. And so how do you encourage as many people as possible so that they can get NRCs and indeed vote for a particular political party? Because in this case, everyone knows that the more people they will encourage in terms of obtaining NRCs, you encourage your followers to get NRCs, and then they'll get voters card, and obviously there will be an election where they have to vote. So everyone has positioned, it's not just the PF, but I know that most of the political parties are out there, encouraging or sensitizing people on the importance of getting NRCs, which will also...
but the question I think the question is that is it right to tell people to get NRCs so that they can vote for you there? Or what reasons are you telling them to get NRCs for? Of course, voting is one of them. Getting jobs and everything is one of them. But what happened there was campaigning at the issuance of or whatever, printing of NRCs or whatever they do. Is that right? Are you saying that's what every political party is doing right now, going to centers?
If you look at
to what she's asking, probably this is a government process, all right, being driven by the party in power. We know that the minister is a PF official. We all know that. And we know that the DC is now, from what we've come to learn, is also a PF official. They are no longer civil servants. You people, those are supposed to represent even those who are outside the PF. Now, this is a government program. You go and take politics there and say, get your NRCs, go and vote Pamaka Mo 2021. Why shouldn't you just leave out politics and leave it at a neutral ground? Because we all know that at that event, not everybody is PF, not everybody is NDC, not everybody is whichever political party. There are different people there who support different political parties. Why would you start campaigning at a government function?
You see, there are two sides there. On one side, yes, it's a government exercise which has always been there. And on the other side, there is also a political atmosphere, or let me say an election atmosphere, which is looming. And obviously we are going into an election period. And so the main reason for this particular exercise is to capture the 9 million targeted voters by the ECZ. What are these all about, or what's the reason behind? Because we are preparing for next year's election. And so it's just important that in as much as, yes, government does its part in carrying out this exercise, which is very normal, at the same time, political parties are also taking advantage of that by encouraging people to register so that they can also have as many as possible to vote for certain particular political parties.
I hear you.
Of course, you are talking about a government official saying that they are also coming from, they have got a political affiliation, okay? So there are two languages there. There is one which is government, of course, where we can't intervene, where we can't, influence anyone based, just because we are government or PF is in government. For me, my focus is on the political side, where if Bakampyongo is a government official, he holds that position as a minister. Of course, he's a minister for all the Zambian, every Zambian there. But at the same time, he is also a member of the PF, and he has a role to play in encouraging people on a political platform.
So that political platform there, that is a government platform. But anyway, let's take it that there are two sides of the coin. Sabo, you'll be coming in shortly. Let's take it, for instance, that there are two sides of the coin here. Now, where there was that program, can the NDC also take advantage of that same program to go and campaign right there?
Well, like I've said, no political party has been restricted or banned from trying to encourage their people to...
The opposition have said that we also need to monitor the issuance of NRCs, and the opposition have been told not to. Actually, on that same day, in Mpulungu, Mr. Kampyongo even issued a statement that it's transparent here, so there's no need for other political parties to come and start monitoring. He's on record, he has issued that statement. They've been barred from monitoring that exercise.
Of course, the issue of monitoring is very different from what we're talking about. I'm talking about sensitizing people. It's the role of all the stakeholders to sensitize people on the importance of getting NRCs. And I don't think there's any opposition political party that has been restricted from sensitizing the people.
Why are you not sensitizing your people
on the
where issues of NRCs are taking place?
We can only sensitize them in our own spaces. Where the exercise is happening like that, believe me, we won't even see the light of day that day. We end up in prison. You know, because like you rightly said, the minister did issue that statement. Not only did he bar political parties, but even NGOs, you know. So he barred everybody from monitoring, you know. So if you monitor, you know, the issue of monitoring sensitization, it's so related, you know, because if I'm going to sensitize people, I'll make sure that I go and check out what they're doing. I'll make sure that I see that the process is happening the way it's happening, you know. And for me to see such sentiments coming in from the minister, it's really, really so sad, because he's a minister of Home Affairs. He's that person supposed to tell everybody to say, you're all Zambians, come and do this. Because from my experience, like I was saying even earlier on, there are many Zambians that are supposed to have NRCs and they don't have them. And right now they can't get them because they are told, your age, you know, you're too old for this, you know. So there has to be that deliberate policy by the government to ensure that anybody who's Zambian, despite their circumstances, you know, there are people who maybe their parents died, you know, because the way the NRC is that you have to be taken by a member of your family. You know, it's a kind of a referral, you know, it's a referral kind of thing. So you have to take your niece, your nephew, your child, and say, this is my daughter, and I confirm that this really is a Zambian. So you find that other people that lost their parents or their relatives or whatever it is, they never had anyone to take them for an NRC, you know. So the government has to come up with those deliberate policies to say, okay, this is what you can do.
Yeah, but Constance,
I just wanted to ask, your friends, the ruling, are doing that. They are going around sensitizing people. Are you doing that as well? Are you on the ground telling people to get NRCs, or perhaps you're just doing it on your phones? Because so far there's a very good... you guys in the opposition are doing very well on social media. Kudos. But on the ground, we don't know. So how is it going?
On the ground, it's tricky. We are doing what we can. You know, remember I even said, like, even I'm coming from Kafue. I was in Kafue town right now. We are doing what we can, you know, but we are restricted. I'm sure now you have even seen that even the police have been unleashed, you know. When they say we're going to observe strict guidelines of the COVID-19, they're not saying that to themselves. They're saying it to the opposition. Because I'm sure for some of us, they can tell, even from my Facebook page, I'm sure they've seen to say, we're also on the ground doing what we can, you know, because at the end of the day, if you look at even the whole COVID situation, from the time it started, they did tell us we should observe certain things, and they're doing the opposite. So at some point, the opposition woke up and said, you know what, if you're going to sit back and say, this is what is happening, we're going to wake up and to be 2021. Our friends who have campaigned all over, you know, they're all over campaigning, but us, we're being restricted. So now when we started campaigning as well, we have seen now that statement saying the police will come in and restrict us. So now it will be more difficult for us to operate on the ground. But believe me, we will still find a way. This is our country. You know, this is our country. And we know in terms of public health, we know what is at stake. Because the truth of the matter is that COVID is real. Many people are dying. People that we know are dying. People are dropping dead, you know. So COVID is real. But at the end of the day, how do we as opposition also ensure that our message is being taken to our people? So we'll find a way and we'll make a plan and we'll make sure that we'll continue sensitizing our people as well.
All right, Benja, there's an allegation that you in the ruling party, you are making it difficult for these in the opposition.
I think it's tricky to say that, because I know that, as far as I'm concerned, I know that people are still interacting out there. You know, people are still meeting, people are still talking. And there are also a so-called stronghold of the opposition, where I don't think PF has that so much influence to restrict, you know, in terms of the activities that people have always been doing this thing. The campaigns, they have been, Zambia has been in a campaign mode since 2016. And I know that the opposition has had their freedom to interact with the people, you know, to send their message across, to just make people understand, you know, the importance of them winning the 2021 elections. And their message has been very clear. So I don't think it has been a top of the agenda of the PF to restrict the opposition from carrying out their normal business, because after all, we're a democratic nation, and so people should have all the rights to exercise their rights at all costs. So I don't think that has really been our priority as the PF to restrict the opposition.
Well, yeah, she was laughing, so we want to hear why she's laughing.
Yeah, she must have her own version of this story. I'm talking about what I know and what I see. I mean, there have been by-elections, people have campaigned, okay? And at the end of the day, both the opposition has won certain seats and the PF has won. So if you say we are restricting people, how come they have managed to win certain seats? How is that possible? For them to win an election or by-election, it means they can still interact with people. Their messages are understood by a few people who are voting for them at the end of the day. So we are not restricting anyone.
All right. Let me make it clear that when you're on this platform, feel free to express yourself. Feel free, speak your mind.
Of course.
This platform is for you.
My sisters are very comfortable.
So what you had you wanted to add something.
You know, Benjamin, my brother, he talks so well. I was even thinking maybe we're in two different countries, you know, when
really?
he's talking. And I was wondering, is this Zambia or this is Nigeria or America or Botswana?
I see someone who is very free. You have a comment, so that also shows that people are so free. She can attack our president, she can attack the party.
I had a question.
And she's so free. I like the way she comes out.
You are done?
Anyway, but they say that if you want to know what happens in the water, ask the fish, you know. So if you want to know about the political violence, intolerance, I think the best people to ask are the opposition.
You've been wanted.
Because we are the ones who are on the receiving end of that violence. So I'd like to tell my brother to say, really, as the fish in the water, it's not really, okay, it's rough out there, actually. It's so sad. You know, I'm sure I've seen that. If I can give you just from 2016 to now, roughly, just a few examples. You saw our president being arrested, for example, for addressing people in his own yard, you know. He was arrested for that. I'm sure you saw again recently the UPND being arrested for having intra-party elections. I think Dr. Bayani and them were those amongst the people that were arrested. Sure. Our own people, yes, yeah. Our own people were arrested in Porokoso. They were having a ward meeting in someone's house. They were appearing in court. 3 of them were arrested. So it has not been easy for the opposition, and the PF is a very, very intolerant party. You know, if you look at the MMD was tolerant. MMD was really democratic. And that's why you could see that even when the PF lost elections, President Michael Sata would start campaigning that very week. He would campaign, he would be all over, you know. But for now, those things are not happening. You know, you try and you're gagged. And there have been many instances, again, with us as NDC. We have, what is this? We would rallies, let's say, in Eastern Province. The other time we found people along the road. You know, there were 3 police cars, new, you know, these police vehicles. It looked like it was even in America, you know, vehicles and these new Hiluxes, those brown ones, those are the ones that prefer, yes, Land Cruisers. Those had cadres, then the police stopped on the road. We were told to go back, you know, and you can imagine we moved all the way from Lusaka. We reached Petau, that was all Petauke. We were told to get back, and we had to go back just like that. The president, a few months later, our president went to Eastern Province, something. He just arrived there, you know. And one of the reasons, by the way, that NDC always participates in elections is just the fact that during elections, we're supposed to be free to even campaign and talk to our people. But you have seen, even during elections, you know, I'll give you 2 examples. If you saw, what is this? This is what? The name has gone. One of these, the Bemba constituencies.
Mwansabombwe?
No, not to Mwansabombwe.
Not to Mwanse. All right, we can continue.
Yeah, exactly. When our president reached, there and then, he was made to go back, okay? The latest one as well was Chilubi.
All right, so in short, what you're trying to say is that you're not being given space.
No, we're not given space, yes.
Benjamin doesn't agree with you.
And this is even during an election, you know, during an election, because for some of us have been getting away with elections. Okay, it's an election period, let's campaign, that's so there. But now, the government is not even hiding their intolerance. Our president, when he arrived in Chilubi Island, was only given 2 hours. the man campaigned for 2 hours and the police were there escorting him.
All right. Benja, you said something very important. I took note of it. Zambia has been in the campaign mood since 2016, meaning you've never had time to work. And this is a concern for many. That because when elections are over, it's time for work.
For work, yeah.
But rightly say, because this is what everybody has been saying, why should a country be in a campaign mood for the entire 5 years?
Can you imagine?
As far as what I meant by that is that the opposition, in trying to express their freedom of interacting with the people, they have created a campaign mode for themselves.
So
Since, of course.
That's opposition.
Yes.
People are buying cancer and buy elections.
No. They've been in a campaign mode from that time. You obviously you've been following the happening or the unfolding of events from a petition to this, to that, to that. For them, it has always been campaign mode, okay? Making the country go in that direction. But as far as the PF is concerned, one, we have the 5-year term mandate, of which to deliver on our campaign promises. And so for us, it's boots on the ground. And that's why you see that the president has been all over the country in trying to deliver development. Even in places or areas where he didn't get enough votes, he has always been, he has been everywhere. And so for us, our program, our agenda has been to develop or to deliver development in all parts of the country. So for us, it's not really a campaign mode, but to fulfill what we promised the Zambian people, because we know that we are only working within the 5-year term of which to convince the Zambian people on what we have done in terms of delivering on our campaign promises. So for us, it has been work after work after, for us, it has been a work mood. While for the opposition, it has been a campaign mood, because for them, they are panicking so that at the end of the day, they must make sure that come 2021, they win the general election. For us, it's about what we will do that will actually make people, or we will use to convince the people to say, this is what we have done, and so they'll be able to give us another mandate. So it's not really a campaign mood for us, but it's delivering on our campaign promises.
So just on that one, do you think you've done enough to convince people to vote for you again in 2021?
There's no doubt about that. Look, we always refer to our PF manifesto in terms of, the promises made to the Zambian people. And we are very proud that, every part of this country at least is testing the development that the PF has delivered under the able leadership of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. And we are so proud of that. Personally, trust me, if PF was not delivering on what we had promised the people of Zambia, maybe I would have just resigned or quit politics. But I'm so proud that, the PF has been, it has really managed to fulfill on what it promised the Zambian people. And we can at least be able to point out to say, here, there was no road, there is a road. Here, there was no this structure, there is such a structure.
Like the flyover bridge.
Of course, that's one of them. And then if you talk about the Kafue flyover bridge, you are talking about complete projects that are being commissioned, because you can't commission what is not there, what hasn't been achieved. The reason why they are commissioning of all these projects is because they started and they are done, and then they are being commissioned. And so you can proudly talk about that, because those are part of the achievements. And sometimes that's what even makes me wonder when the opposition says they have done nothing. What do you mean nothing? Nothing is zero. Are you sure that you haven't done anything? So maybe they have to, check with what's happening on the ground and really convince us that we haven't done anything. Because I believe from way back, from the time there was UNIP, MMD, up to this point, there are certain things that were not done by this government, which are being done under the PF government. And it's just normal that, you give credit where it is due. Right. And like shooting down everything, which is not even working to the advantage of the opposition. I have a
question before Savoy comes.
Yes.
They say numbers don't lie. Right. When the PF came into power, our local reserves were above $5 million US. And of course, we've heard from the Minister of Finance during his 2019-2020 national budget that our national reserves, now stand at slightly $1.5 million. Where has the money gone? You campaigned on a slogan that more money in people's pockets. Do people have more money? You campaign, these are only the 3 slogans that I'm giving you. You campaigned on lower taxes. You go and check the last paragraph in Dr. Walyangandu's 2019-2020 national budget. You see that as of 1st January 2020, all fees, user fees, let's say fees that are being charged by police at the hospitals, they've all been increased. You said load shedding will end, everything will be worked on. Has it been worked on? We were told that fuel prices will come down, especially with the promise of the Saudi Arabia fuel. Have they been reduced? You talked about, I'll bring you down. Let me take you to Kasempa, for instance. In 2015, the president said you work on the Lusaka-Kaoma road. 2015 till today, nothing has been done. 25-kilometer road project in Solwezi, they'll be done. That was in 2015. The President Lungu commissioned it twice after that project. Till today, nothing has been done. We were told in 2015 by President Edgar Lungu when he was launching the National Youth Policy at the Mulungushi International Conference Center, he said by the end of 2015, 1 million jobs would have been created. Probably, I know you wouldn't have the statistics, but you can have an idea how many youths probably have been given opportunities and in which sectors.
Well, yeah, Kalan, you may choose to dwell so much on the negatives, okay? It's your choice. But as far as I'm concerned, of course, I'm coming to that. But I believe, being in all fairness, it's also important to look at the achievements that has been scored by the PF or under the PF government. You may look at all those to be a part of the failure on the PF, but you must also understand that there are various factors that probably may have led to that. Okay, it's not the doing of the PF. Some can be internal, others may be as a result of external factors. So you've had the issues to do with the climate change, okay, which obviously affected us in one way or the other. Okay, these are things that may not have been expected, or we didn't foresee such things happening. At the moment, we even have the coronavirus, which obviously has affected so many nations where, as far as the economy is concerned. And so you cannot connect that or point that as a PF failure. What we have achieved, we have achieved. Projects that have delayed for known reasons, I think there's a justification to that. If you talk about employment levels, why did we so much dwell on building infrastructure? I think this was meant to benefit the people, because we knew at some point, if there were healthy centers which are being built under the PF, definitely those must have people to work in those particular places. And so you're talking about job creation, okay? If you're talking about creating an atmosphere which can enable investors to come in, check with ZDA how many investors out there are willing to come in this country just to invest, so that our people can have job opportunities. Even in the most challenging moments, President Edgar Chagwa Lungu has shown quality leadership by actually standing to the challenges and still providing solutions, even with what we saw yesterday, that 30 million loan being launched for the artists in this country. All I'm trying to show you are the positives that has been scored under his leadership, under President Edgar Chagwa Lungu's leadership. These are some of the things that have been achieved so far. And besides, when you are planning or when you are laying a foundation, or even at your individual level, if you embark on building a house, for instance, and you used to have 3-4 meals per day, definitely you cut down because there's something that you intend to achieve, okay? But when you complete or when you finish that particular project, definitely life gets back to normal, where you can afford certain things. Zambia was a construction site because there are certain things that were not done then. Even ZESCO at the moment, which had so many difficulties as a result of increasing the tariffs, at least they have managed to build most of these power stations, okay? The what do you call them? The hydropower stations, dotted countrywide. And all these are in an effort to actually handle or finish the load shedding that you are talking about. I have pointed to the climate change issue. If there are no rains, definitely the dams are dried up. That is not the problem of the PF. So there are certain negatives that will not take the blame, but will still accept responsibility because we are the party in government.
If we're the two of us, trust me, I would have a lot of follow-up questions on
I'll always be equal to the task.
A program with you. And
Thank you. I'm looking forward to
I'll challenge you on all what you've said, but in the best interest of time, I can't keep somebody.
Thank you so much,
Someone you want to submit something?
Yes, there's one thing that I've been trying to find out from the PF. Maybe he'll answer it later on, or maybe in another program. How climate change has affected our economy, and to what extent. You know, they're not explaining. They keep on telling us that climate change has affected our economy. So they need to explain to us how exactly, you know, that has happened. We don't want
for another program, right?
You can touch on it if you want.
You can touch on it briefly. How has it done that? You know, do you know that even COVID-19, the PF was on a downward spiral before even COVID-19 started. They're even lucky that the donors are giving their money. It's only because of their lack of transparency that the money has been cut. Otherwise, during COVID, they even made more money than we're supposed to make without COVID as a government. But we just don't know where the money has gone to, you know. So the PF, there's certain things they always give us reasons, but they're not really reasons. If he talks about, when he talks about Zambia being a construction site, look at how much the construction projects have been, how much they've been costing the country. You know, they've borrowed too much. You don't borrow to build, you know, roads and everything. You don't borrow for consumption. You borrow if you know that you're going to produce. Even you at a family level, if you be that person who borrows money just so that you shine, you buy shoes, you buy whatever, sooner rather than later, your family is going to be in a crisis. You know, but if you're going to borrow money because you've got a business idea, and then that money, once it comes in, there's that productivity, there's that business, and you're able to generate more money. That way, even that responsibility, the children will see, okay, our father really has a plan for us, you know. But what the PF have been doing really, in terms of construction and in terms of borrowing, I think it has been very, very unsustainable. And I'm happy that we do have a good Minister of Finance at the moment, that he's trying to shape out and shape up certain things, you know. But otherwise, the way things were, believe you me, even the construction that he's talking about, this is something that should have been avoided, you know. We should have been constructing things when we have the money. Not you borrow money, and then the road is supposed to cost, let's say, 2 million, you peg it at 10 million. Then you don't even know where the other 8 million.
So in short, you're accusing them of corruption.
Definitely.
All right. Talking of borrowing for the right cause, I just saw, this is a secret. There's a caller on the line, but before we get it, I saw something. I saw Constance had pushed in for a loan. And she wanted to buy Peruvian hair. So
from what the government is giving, you see wrong reasons. And the president was saying this money is not for partying.
For Peruvian.
Because when I see what the government is doing.
No.
I'm sure she's copying from someone.
No.
All right, let's accommodate the caller. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Just kindly be brief and straight to the point so that we accommodate others also. You can go ahead. You are through the program. Hector. Amen.
Now, problem never feels like over that. Banana blood, wow, whatever blood here, why? Then banana blood, why? But it's a cold to blood. The party to appear to improve the very bomba. But it can have another Kulanda from our voters, the registration. We need to have it specifically to go back that it is that is that one is one. You know, remember in Bomba, we know. The body moving that in the Kotara in the position. That's one thing we have to understand.
Okay, Chenkuli number 2 and number 3, so that in the best interest of time. Chenkuli number 2 and number 3. Quickly, so that we allow others also.
Okay. It's number 2. The family registered and whether that's validated. But who can the Chinese, the police have the Mawan 2, Mawan 3. If you think that someone wants 1, 3. So I say as an investor, that means that period. So, upon a pena, Kapari Sinka. It's up that Balai, Chapulibankai, everybody gives the Mugeta more government. Mukadika started to share Kumari Vestas. It's about an afford and because the president of Antukana fantasy. Development, Tayara Mukibu, the development moves. Mutunga ikala kulewa mpano kulesi. Roko mutunga mulemu kulesi tukataka kutetea muzika. Mutaka leso mulemu kulesi.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Twatotala. At this stage, we are going to be pushing in a few phone calls here and there so that you'll be interacting with the. But let's see. These are questions. Do you want to go for them? I wanted to say pass, but anyway, I'll start with you. 2 questions came for you. You're not allowing, but this is something we've already discussed.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
This is what I'm saying. Maybe for instance, he's just cementing that there is nothing that you've done as PF.
It's unfortunate. I don't know where he's sitting and which country he comes from. But genuine Zambians, people that are able to see what the PF...
It's coming from Zambia.
No, I think Chiridabombe, the last time I went there, Chiridabombe kwali ama potholes. Nalikarako Chiridabombe personally.
On that point, Yomland, that Chiridabombe kwali ama potholes, it says development, techibumba, building and everything, development bantu, so that they can be able to develop other things.
If he says development, Ivanto, people still need infrastructure, okay? How do they develop when even the road leading to Chirirabombe or going to Chirirabombe or passing Chirirabombe going into Kasumbalesa or Congo, Tairibueno, where certain goods and services are supposed to be delivered to the people, and then the PF does that, okay? So that, you know, they facilitate a smooth operation or delivery of service and goods. And then out of that, now Mambo Pangendarama as citizens, what type of development is he talking about? So first things first, you lay the foundation, and from that foundation, then people begin to develop. I don't know how long the foundation should be. So I don't understand when they say Studio Musebo, Studio Chipatara. Like for instance, PF had embarked on building Ama Hospital, Ama clinics. We didn't, of course, see COVID coming, and then there's this pandemic. Those facilities are still providing, are working to the benefit of the people. So when someone begins to shoot down whatever we are doing, are they really being fair to themselves?
You see,
I think that to me is very unfair.
I think the question here is, if number one, how long does it take to build a foundation? I know building a house or building an infrastructure is not as simple as building the entire nation. I want to agree with you on that point. But how long? What's the time? I'm still asking. Yes. What's the time frame of building? Because I've been hearing the PF talking about foundation. When are we going Kwambukubika? It has torn from the foundation now. We start building. Secondly, you're talking. Whenever I have a discourse with someone from either government or the PF, no, we are building hospitals everywhere. Well, let's not forget that you as government, you also promised the people of Zambia 650 health posts across the country. Yes. You go to almost every district, and most of the districts have got 9 allocated health posts. All right? You go to most of these districts, it's either 2 have been done, 1. Today I'm working on a report from Mwenelunga where they've only done 2 health posts, and the other one, the 4 as of last week, that's when they are backfilling the ingredients for putting up the slab now. Since 2013, when the announcement was made, up to today, which hospitals are being built when we were told that these clinics will meet the people at their point of need?
Definitely, to every project, there must be a time frame. And most of the projects that we embarked on countrywide, okay, they started almost at the same time. There are those that you confess and agree with me that they are in a completion stage, or they have been completed and being commissioned or being launched or given out to the people.
We are told that by end of 2016, actually July was end of 2016. By then, Dr. Chitaruchirife was deputy minister. When he told this country that before the end of 2016, all the health posts across the country would have been completed. That was his point. By then there was no COVID. By then even the issue of climate change had not clicked in. By then everything was working smoothly. Why didn't we have those health posts finished?
Yes, I agree with you. But what I'm also saying is that yes, you may have these plans and you attach a time frame to achieving certain things. But there's things that come along the way that may affect, the plans that you might have had.
So what affected that?
I think I've brought up a lot of issues from our discussion.
Climate change, COVID-19. And this is why I'm saying, by then there was no COVID, there was no climate change. What else?
But look, there are projects that are still being worked on, which I totally agree with you.
Yeah, okay,
that at least we didn't relax, despite maybe delaying on 1 or 2 things, but at least we've been
doing something
on the go trying to achieve what we started. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning, thanks.
Good morning to you too. Kindly go ahead with your contribution. Be brief.
Yeah.
Abaku? Ba Benjamin Sawila.
Baswira.
Mkwai.
Baswira, me, I'm coming from Kawe. You have literally done nothing in Kawe. Let me give you an example. There is the shortest route to Copperbelt if you are coming from Kawe, using Mukubwe Road. That road is so short to Copperbelt. There is nothing that you have done with that road. Coming to this other road that goes to Mukonchi, is so fallen. It is still dusty and bumpy. Just the same as it was in Kaunda's time. And when you're coming from Katiri to Kabwe, as you leave Katiri about 5 kilometers, there is a road that goes to Mukonchi. There's nothing to be a hospital. There's no hospital that you have brought in Kabwe. Otherwise, not to my knowledge anyway, that we should want to try to hospital. If you do not see power to other, if you be one time you papa better, you have to tell what you want to Musaro. And about 80% of them workers are getting 1,200 quarter. Imagine what you are 1,200 quarter per month. You think somebody can survive? I am a just yesterday for Camnet TV, we were watching some people protesting. Now if you don't want to party,
Thank you so much. You may as well also call us, and the views expressed by our guests here, the views expressed by our callers, remain their views and not the views of Camnet Television. And of course, you've been very quiet.
Maybe just to respond to him.
You will respond later first.
Yeah. I wanted to say, for me as a government, they should be listening to the people. You know, people are calling in. Before you start defending, I just listen to what the people are saying. You know, the wisdom, you know, earlier on, even when the first caller spoke, the wisdom in what he said, you know, he actually reminded me, the time I was a student at UNZA, there were these development studies courses, you know, which talked about economy and everything. And the UN sponsored a course called Human Development, because it was about making people realize to say, in as much as you talk development, as long as there's not that human development, then there's no development at all. And that's exactly what the first caller explained in what he said. To say, we need human development, you know, at the very least, you know. He talks about, when people say that we can't eat roads, it simply means that in as much as you're doing this, yes, the roads are important, yes, but we also need this element of human development. What capabilities is the government ensuring that these people are having? You know, the people need to have capabilities to do certain things. No wonder the Americans simplify it by saying in pursuit of happiness. They look at their politics as a pursuit for happiness, because it is from the political establishments that you can get certain things as an individual. I am not going to vote for the PF or the NDC or the UPND just so that they build roads. No. When a political party is in power, they need to ensure that the people also are able to develop at an individual capacity. So once you have built that road from Chilawombwe to Mwansabombwe, am I, as Constance, able to get now my maize, my goods to sell at Kasumbalesa? At Kasumbalesa is one of the important borders because the prices are very expensive. So is now the fertilizer being distributed to the people on time? When you distribute fertilizer to me on time, am I able now to farm so that when I farm, I have maize and I sell at Kasumbalesa? Am I able to have certain things that I'm able to provide for my family? That's what the people are asking for. And it's a very, very noble and simple request. And they just have to listen. But the problem is that they have closed their ears. So when people complain to say, we can't eat roads, we need much more than this, they close their ears and they think that people are criticizing them or they're just talking from without. No, it's not from without. This is their government, and they do have that right to talk to them like that.
Are you a listening government?
There is no doubt. I'm not seated here just to oppose everything that the callers or the people out there are saying. I'll be very unfair to them, and I'll be unfair to myself if I say that I'm not opposing everything that they are saying. Their concerns are very genuine, because obviously the part of human development is very, very cardinal in this case, very important. And in as much as we are dwelling or focusing so much on infrastructure development, we haven't forsaken the human development part. That's why even in terms of construction of schools, which obviously will give certain knowledge to our people, the empowerment skills that are coming up, of course, which will also make people do things in a different way. And besides, there have also been a reduction in terms of the school fees, which should just enable everyone to be in school, to have some kind of knowledge.
What do you mean?
You know that there was...
I don't know. What do you mean that there's a reduction in school fees?
They reduced school fees. You are aware about that, I believe.
I'm not aware.
Oh, really?
This is why I'm asking.
Okay.
When did
he
they
doesn't
reduce?
go to school.
I believe the Minister of
Constance,
Education did announce that they've reduced school fees. Yeah. I know, Cara, just to oppose everything.
No, I'm
so
not
in short,
opposing.
I totally agree with the concerns of the people, and that's why, to answer your question, Constance, we are a listening government, and that's why President Edgar Chagwa will always do what is expected of him by the people of Zambia. If they complain to say, Bakateka, okuturefu a hospital, okuturefu a road, or okuturefu a school, or okuturefu a Efiajan, the president will always listen to the people. Because even when coming up with the PF manifesto, we listened to the people. We knew what Zambian people wanted. And that is what has always been winning us elections.
But you've done to the contrary, Mr.
Two of the callers, Mr. Benjamin, two of the
Yes.
callers have, I think, mentioned one thing, the same thing, which is most of the people are now getting paid 1,200. I think I observed that. Two of them have said the same amount.
I totally agree with the people because they're on the ground, they are working for these investors. Some investors, obviously, they are not giving or paying people what they deserve.
Is that what you call human development?
All right, let's push in a phone call. Let's push in a phone call.
Yes.
Let's push in a phone call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Kindly tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Be brief.
Yes, I'm calling from Matero. My name is Stenley Kafula.
Yes, Mr. Kafula.
Yeah, first of all, as the youth, I'm very disappointed for people to start assuming that there's corruption in government. Yeah, because there's no proof that the contractors are given the money which is not mentioned. Now, from the angle of the youth, what they're supposed to do is to lobby the government that they give the youth the empowerment. The problem which I have observed is Zambians do not register the companies and the cooperatives, and you cannot blame the government. So let's tell our youth to register and form cooperative, and let's not stop politicizing things. I can borrow to build a house, that is okay, because the house is a permanent thing. So if the government borrows to build roads, that's a plus, because roads bring development. So let's just argue on a very fair platform, not accusing us there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I like that because at least that's what we advocate for. Be brief and, of course, different views. This is what is needed. But before you come in, somebody wanted to respond to something. He was on the floor. Then
okay, yeah. In fact, before I lose my thought, I want to respond to what the caller has said when he talks about arguing on a level platform, whatever it is. These things are real. When we talk about corruption, things are real. If I'm going to come to you, sir, from Matero, you know that the bread costs 10 kwacha. I come to you and I tell you that the bread costs 50 kwacha. You know, it's about being analytical. You know, you need to analyze. I'll give you an example of the construction of the police houses, which is happening right now, okay? If you look at the amount of money that is being used, somebody did an analysis last time to say, if you look at the money that was mentioned, it's more like one police house is being built at $168,000. You know, now imagine, Constance, that even you, Benjamin, one house, one of those police houses, because the one house going at 168,000. So what we're simply saying is that in that 168,000, if we were to distribute amongst the policemen themselves, believe you me, they'll build their own houses within a $20,000-$30,000. They'll build a house because the dollar now is at 18 kwacha. So if you talk about $30,000, I'm sure it's more like 500,000, something like, isn't it, around there, you know? So if you're going to say you're building houses for the police at 168 and only one, and this is a house somebody will stay in and later on leave, you're not empowering them. So what we're saying is an issue of priority, you know. So, sir, if you're still listening, when we talk about corruption, it's not a matter of just talking. Corruption is one of the biggest cancers that any government should fight, and we want to fight it, you know. So the issue of police houses, like I'll say, there's no way one police house can cost 168,000. Because if I am a policeman, a policewoman myself, I would rather the government gives me that money. If I'm given a 40,000, a 20,000, a 30,000, I'll build my own house, which is permanent. When I retire, I'll go into my own house. So corruption has to be fought. And it also needs to realize that corruption is one of the biggest problems that any government would need to fight. So even if the PF was serious with fighting corruption, it still takes a lot for them to really fight it, because people are people, you know. So if now us as the people again are tolerating corruption, then what are we doing?
All right. If you're just joining us, you're watching the live broadcast of the Breakfast Show on the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show on Camnet Television. And of course, my name is Carla Mchima Constance. And of course, on the set, we also have Benjamin Sawila coming in from the PF. And he's the PF National Youth Executive Committee Vice Chairman. And of course, Savoy Imboila coming in from the NDC, and she is a spokesperson. There is a topic that we told you that we'll be discussing, and that is for the statement made by the PF Secretary General, Honorable Davis Mwila, that now this is the PF will start, or government will start appointing DCs from the PF structures. That's one thing that we should also look at in the best interest of time. Mr. Sewila Benja, is that the new normal now, that DCs must come from the PF structures? Well, because we know that these are civil servants. So why should they be coming from the structures of PF?
I think as far as I'm concerned, DCs have always been picked on merit. Maybe the concern from our Secretary General has been as a result of, the problem maybe that comes when certain people are put in these positions, that they would want to, frustrate government efforts in delivering development. I think we have heard of certain council chairpersons, because not all these constituencies or councils are headed by a PF or someone from the PF. Some, obviously, they are dominated by the opposition, and the opposition have produced maybe a council chairperson or whatever position in certain areas. And we have experienced a situation where these people have tried to frustrate government efforts in delivering development. I think if the statement that the SG made was in line, I want to believe that that's what he meant, because when you have your own, who understands what your vision is, what you intend to do, it's easy to, deliver development to the people. So maybe I may not really understand the full statement, what he meant, but if that is what he really meant.
I'm sure the SG is just repeating himself, because I want to state in your presence that all the DCs across the country, they are all PF officials. You've just appointed Kawangu, is that Kawangu in Ikelen? He's a PF official. He stood on the PF ticket in 2016. Sulubanji, who's been appointed as DC for Lusaka. Sulubanji, you know, we've worked with him. He's a PF official. He's a district commissioner for Lusaka. The DC for Chulundu, Comrade Kayami, a very good friend of ours, he was district chairman for PF. The district commissioner for Mufrila, my brother, what is his name now? Even on this platform, when he called on this platform, we had a discussion. He even mentioned himself that he was secretary for the PF in the district and at the province under PF. Tell me which district commissioner across the country is not a PF official.
And sorry, Carla, let me just cut you short before he comes in. And I think he also confused the district commissioners and the council chairpersons. The council chairpersons, of course, can be produced from the other parties. But when talk about district commissioners, like you have said, they are PF officials. And for me, it's so sad that the Secretary General now is talking about them coming from the party structures, because we all know party structures is about passion and not really professionalism. Party structures, as long as somebody is able to rise through the ranks, they are able to get whatever position that they want, But when it comes to positions, I think they should instill a culture where they encourage people, maybe let's say they go to school or they do certain things for them to attain certain positions, not a matter of just passion and loyalty. If you look at the Chinese Communist Party, for example, just being in the Central Committee, a minimum is a master's degree. Everybody who's in the Central Committee has got a master's degree. That is why the Chinese have created a system whereby, by the time you're becoming president, the system itself filters you. It filters you whereby whoever becomes president, they're okay with that. No wonder in China can even be president for 20 years, because they know that the system has created a system where they choose the best amongst themselves. They have a system in China which they call meritocracy, which comes from the word merit, to say everything we do, we need to have this spirit of meritocracy. And they're doing that, even in their selection processes, even in their leadership structures, and even in their party structures, for that matter. So for me, it's so sad that instead of going towards them refining the kind of leaders they have, they did put up a thing of a Gretov certificate, for example, in terms of the national leadership. So at a party structure now, how do you now defile that? If I should use that word, So at a party structure, because it's from the parties that you produce a national leadership. So even at a party structure, let's have systems which ensure that you produce the right people in the right jobs. These things of saying that they'll be getting out from the structures, I think it's a very, very, very sad situation. Very sad.
Mr. Benjamin?
I think even in appointing these positions, there's a process of vetting. You know, the people are screened in terms of what qualifications they hold and things like that. And don't forget that it doesn't mean that the people in PF are all dull or they are not educated. There are people that, we have people who are educated and they are equal to the task. And besides, there are also Zambians who deserve jobs. And so when they are given jobs, I don't think that should
I
really
agree with
be
you, but
an
not
issue.
all jobs to be given to people.
Of course, it's not all jobs, all positions in this country that are, you know.
This is a preserve of the PF.
I doubt if there's such a thing.
I would really want to know. I would say this without apology at the end of the day. Also, number two, as much as it is a serious issue, but he's also my cousin, so I know he will not take offense. I'd want to know the merits and qualifications for, let's say, the former DC for Siavonga, Kanyama, who was going climbing trees, removing party barriers, beating people. I would really want to.
Well, I'm not aware about that. I'll speak what I know. And as far as I'm concerned, President Edgar Chagwalungu has been very fair in the team and the people he wants to work with. And he has always picked people based on merit. That's why he's very comfortable with the gender, working with different people, both male and female. He has been very comfortable working with the youths, for instance, and he's been comfortable working with the Zambian who qualifies on merit. He's got ideas and can contribute to the growth of this country. And you agree with me that some of the people that are close to the president now, for instance, our presidential advisor, he didn't come from any of our party structures, but he's there. So the president just believes in working with people. Yes, so you cannot say he's only interested in picking from the PF structures or the SG. We are comfortable working with everyone.
We need to go now. We are under 5 minutes. We need to go. But even as we conclude, in your concluding remarks, also, the Vice President says the 30 million Kwacha Youth Fund, which was released for artists, will benefit 10,000 youths, a staggering number. How are they going to share this 30 million? We've already heard that some ministers out there are saying, what is a 2 million? When yesterday they didn't even have a 500 Kwacha. We know how we are moving the same cars, Corollas. Today they can even boast that, what is a 2 million? That's chicken change, which I can just use to buy sawdust out there and put in my, in whatsoever. I'll start with you, then we'll end with Benjamin.
Well, I mean, it's really so sad. And when we talk about what is the 2 million, I mean, they're living by their weight.
No, I'm asking about, that's just from me.
30 million we're talking
30 million. We're talking about the 30 million to benefit 10,000 youths.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how that would be shared and how it would be done. I know that the National Council was talking about the artists having cooperatives and I think companies that they distribute it through that. But also you need to give people according to their strengths and what they've been doing all along. You can't start creating things which are not yet there and then tell them to say this is what you're going to do. I think for me in terms of a category, it's very, very important that they should have individual artists, cooperative and business. Because artists are institutions on their own, you know, they've been able to create these businesses and these institutions around their own names, you know, so they need to recognize that and see what individual artists can do, what cooperatives can do, and also what the businesses can do. Because the cooperative coming for the sake of there's money here, so let's form a cooperative to get it. They don't, first of all, they don't even have that common a vision or goal. They don't have that. They're just coming in just for the sake of getting that money. So there already there'll be a problem. So to me, in terms of how it's going to be distributed, I think it's very, very important. And we know that there's elections next year, so we don't want this to be seen as a bribe. Let it be simply because they want to help the young people, the youth of this country. You know, and they should even give them more.
Your concluding remarks?
My concluding remarks are that I think the PF have tried by all means to make sure that the opposition we don't speak and everything, but this is our country, you know, they should be democratic enough, you know, to ensure that they give all of us a voice. They keep on gagging our voices, and it's not fair, you know. But as being the Zambians that we are, we'll keep on speaking. Whether they like it or not, we'll speak.
Constance, you can end with your brother there.
Please, your concluding remarks.
Yes, I think the 30 million targeting 10,000 artists, and of course, there's also a possibility of increasing to 15,000 artists. I think that's a step in the right direction. And I know the president means well, even in these most challenging times. He means well to the youth and to the Zambian people at large. I think that is responsible leadership that the Zambian people must look forward to, a leadership that is tried, tested, and it's a proven quality leadership. And we don't want to experiment as we go into 2021, to experiment on people that have no vision, the people that only have booklets with no content, no manifesto for this country. And in President Edgar Chagwalungu, there is a future because with what has been laid so far, the Zambian people have a future. And we don't want to go into 2021 experimenting on failures.
But
as you are saw, there are some, you saw some who are always people that will leave the party. I'll use the term from the, I'll borrow a term from SG to say the people that are leaving the party. But at the end of the day, these people are still coming back. It means we are a very good party, very attractive. We have continued winning the by-elections, which means people are still with us and they support us. And I think that is very encouraging on our side. And I would encourage even Wasaboy, we can look after nicely in the PF, because I know that you're welcome. So going in 2021, I just want to encourage the Zambian people, please get NRCs. This is a very serious exercise,
we need to
and
go.
it will benefit you in terms of choosing the right leadership in President Edgar
We've already
Chagwalungu.
heard.
So get NRCs, get voters cards. This is your country. Protect the legacy of the PF. Come 2021, it's just PF victory.
Thank you so much. But
Thank you so very much.
the invitation should not only be for Saboy and Lakambwi. Even me and
all of you,
please, please give me that invitation. I also want to become
giving him presidential spokesperson.
Come on. We've come to the end of the program. Thank you so much for your time. Constance, you can wrap it up.
Okay, so this was the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show. We had Benjamin from the Patriotic Front, Saboy from NDC, and also
Kalan from Camnet.
Kalan from
Camnet Party.
Yeah, Camnet Party. This was the Rise and Thrive. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.
Good morning.
And see you on when?
Saturday.
Saturday.
We'll be back again. Bye-bye. I've got a colleague of mine who would say it's in the morning. Good night.